Hello and welcome to another session of Simufact tutorials by Hyperlyceum team. This video was made by Amin Ganjabi and narrated by Kusha Puramadani. In this video, we are going to define the materials for Simufact software. We are using the JMAT Pro bypass software for this purpose. We also transfer materials later to Simufact using the Excel file. For example, we intend to define DC03 material properties in Simufact software, which is not already available in the software's library. As always, the first option is to use the internet for finding the material properties. The second case which we will cover is using JMAT Pro to estimate the material properties. Now kindly open JMAT Pro and click on Material Type. The mentioned material, DC03, belongs to the General Steel category. Select it, and the next step would be importing the chemical composition of DC03. You can find these material compositions on the internet, then change the inputs on the software accordingly. As for the next part, go through solidification and click on Phases and Properties. Change the grain size to 7 microns. Be aware that this value needs to be obtained from experiments, but in our example we have assumed it is equal to 7. In order to find the maximum temperature, we have to refer to the iron-carbon phase diagram and compare the data there with the amount of carbon we have. In our material, we have 0.0377% carbon, and based on this diagram, this line here is below 1600 degrees Celsius. Finally, change the cooling grade to 50 and select Start Calculation. Once the calculations are finished, the Properties diagram window will open. Here, you can see the changes in different properties of DC03 as temperature rises. Do not close this window, for we are going to need it when we want to import data in Simufact later. Now, let's open Simufact. In the Objects Catalog panel, find and click on Materials, then select New. In the Open New Material Properties window, select General Properties and change the name to DC03. Then enter the respective DIN number. Keep in mind that the DIN number is simply a standard name for a material and it is not mandatory to define it here. For DC03, it is equal to 1.0388. Next, choose the type of application in the area in which the material is going to be applied. We are going to choose welding here. Select General Steel under the group box and you can enter your name as the creator of this component. Finally, finish this tab by selecting the weldability option. We have to import the chemical composition by hand for the next step. First, select them in the components and then import the mass portion percentage in the table above them. The Thermal Properties menu is the place where we import the data we have defined using the JMAT software. Start with selecting Table for the type of thermal conductivity and specific heat capacity, then click on Create Table. Go to the JMAT software and on the last window we open, select Thermal Conductivity as the data to be shown. Pay attention to units in both softwares. If they are not the same, we have to change them to the units used in Simufact. Here the temperature unit in Simufact is Kelvin, while it's Celsius in JMAT. We are going to import its relevant data while changing its unit with the aid of Excel. Click on Export Data in JMAT and choose Export this graph's data to worksheet format and save it. Open the saved file and copy its content into an Excel sheet. Sort the data in an ascending order and copy the data into another datasheet. Replace the space between the two columns with semicolon and copy them into a new Excel. Finally, save the Excel under CSV format. Now that we have the data exported from JMAT, we can import them in Simufact using the Import button over here. You can see the final graph is identical to the one in JMAT. We have to do the same thing for the specific heat in thermal properties menu and Young's module, density, and thermal expansion coefficient in mechanical properties menu. Choose constant for the Poisson's ratio and set its value to 0.3. Pay attention to the unit similarity in both softwares. Next on the list is the flow curves data. On JMAT main tab, select the Simufact pre-map in the data export section. Then change the grain size to 30 microns and enter 1410 for austenitization temperature. The austenitization temperature is found comparing the data on the iron-carbon phase diagram with carbon's weight percentage in our component, which is 0.0377% in DC03. Start calculations and save the file. We only need either the ferrite or austenite flow stress graphs as they are similar, and we can close the other non-related graphs. Go to the austenite diagram setting tab and set the amount of fixed strain rate to 0.01. Then refresh the graph and export the data. Next, open the exported file and copy it all into an Excel. As you know, we cannot use this format and we need to change it in the order it is applicable in Simufact. The A, B, C, and D columns are to be assigned for the temperature, strain rate, true strain, and stress respectively. After making the adjustments, make sure to save the file under the CSV format. Now go back to the Simufact and import the data we have prepared in the flow curves menu. We still need to import the electrical resistivity and electrical conductivity properties in the electromagnetic menu. We use the same solidification graph in JMAT when we wanted to import thermal or mechanical properties. With that, we close another session of our Simufact tutorials. Hope you've enjoyed it, and until the next one, have a good time.
This video was made by Amin Ganjabi. To find his contact information and updated resume, please visit our website at hyperlyceum.com. Amin is an expert in Simufact, CZERT, PDMS, and some other engineering software. To plan an online session and discuss industrial and academic projects, please use the provided email address under Amin's profile. The costs of projects vary depending on the complexity of the work and can be discussed in advance. We are looking forward to working with you.